Is a global industry ready to pursue the new technology opportunity, or the risk? These are all the questions that I'm interested today to get the answers from Mr. Derek Novak, the Senior Vice President, Engineering and Technology of American Pro of Shipping, in order to exclusively tell Marassi News audience about the use of the new technology in the industry and to what extent ABS is developing and innovating the industry, taking it to a new level. Thank you, Mr. Derek, for being with us in Marassi News TV.
Thank you to be here. I'm happy to speak with you about these interesting new concepts coming into our industry.
So I can see you just came out from the panel that was very controversial and very argumentative about the use of smart technology. Is it an opportunity or a risk to the industry, and to what extent is the industry pursuing and ready to adapt the smart technology? In this regard, I need to know more about ABS' unique approach of implementing the smart technology to facilitate operations in the industry.
Sure, I think the best way to start that discussion is to define what smart technology is. So at ABS, we define smart technology as using data collection, data management, and data analytics in order to make more informed decisions. So the debate was talking about smart and whether our industry is ready or not to start adapting to some of these smart technologies. Well, I think if you take a step back and look at that basic definition of smart, I think our industry is very much ready to take these steps moving forward by adopting small steps in terms of smart functionality into using that on board their assets.
Perfect. And moving to my second controversial argument, is the technology an opportunity or a threat to the industry?
I think it's really an opportunity. So the way ABS approaches these particular technologies out there is small incremental steps in order to be able to make sure our industry can take our clients and owners and operators to be able to make small returns on investment, be able to invest wisely and take incremental steps to use that technology to better help their operations, better make better decisions on the technology that they use, and to better perform and possibly develop competitive advantages over their competition. So I think our industry is ready, and I think it's a good thing for our industry.
Good. Let me wear the hat of a ship owner now and tell you exactly from a ship owner perspective, especially in the Middle East market, some of them they're not 100% yet convinced of the new technology, and they're thinking that maybe they're like, why they should pay more for the new technology, and they're not adding any good value to their operation. How would you react to this argument?
I think I can certainly understand the concern. I mean, the industry came off the ballast water management implementation, and now we're about ready to introduce the SOX 2020 regulations. I can see how a ship owner right now would be very concerned about spending more money on technology that may not be fully proven. So what I would tell any owner at this point in time is, what do you want to achieve? Why do you want to use smart technology? So when we talk to clients, they all think there's something out there, something magical out there. Well, it's not super magical if you just try and understand what your goals are as your organization. Take small bites, take bites that your company can afford, and you can do very simple things. There's lots of techniques you can use right now today, probably with the technology that are on most of the ships, to make surveys less intensive and to be able to take better advantage of all that equipment on board your vessel right now, and you can make make a class experience more enjoyable and less intrusive a class experience.
And tell me more, how do you convince the ship owners? Are you actually conducting awareness workshops about the new technology that is provided by ABS for ship class, or what are your initiative approaches to convince the ship owners, especially in the region here?
So some of our approaches are trying to get the word out that smart doesn't need to mean a massive investment to your company. Smart can be just an incremental step towards leveraging technology that you already have available. So instead of trying to tell everybody what to do and prescribing requirements on how to try and better your industry, we're letting the industry dictate how fast they want to move.
So tell me more now about the new technology rule to maintain sustainability in the market. How do you see it?
So this is very critical. So as we move towards 2030 and beyond, we all know the regulations and the goals set forth by the IMO. So in order to be able to get ourselves ready, 2030 is not that far along. If you think about it right now, a ship being constructed today is going to be on the water in 2030. So we need to start using this smart technology to start collecting the data about how our vessels operate and what type of greenhouse gas effects are going on in our vessels right now, to be able to determine what ways we can use to be able to reduce these greenhouse gases in the future. So the technology today and the data analytics today are going to help us solve these problems in the future.
This is perfect, and I want to move to the IMO side a little bit, and the 2020 regulations, the decreasing the low sulfur cap for the ship owners 0.05%. So you wrote a very interesting article in Marassi News about the new scrapping technology and the notation for the for ABS. Tell us more about this. Give us more details to our audience about this technology, and to what extent it helps the industry and the ship owners to cope with the new IMO regulations.
So ABS's approach, the answer to the question in solving each individual company's problem with regards to SOX 2020, it's going to be different. So what we're trying to do is let the industry know all the available options they have towards solving these problems. So for some companies, scrubbers are the best solution. Other companies, the fuel source or the type of fuel you bring on board is the best technology to go forward with. So what we try to do is present a comprehensive look at all the options available to ship owners and operators, so they can make the best solution that's suitable for their company, their assets, their operations, where they're running their vessels. All these things need to factor into to your strategy in complying with that, and we hope in a small way ABS is finding a way to help industry cope with these challenges.
This is perfect. How do you see the autonomous industry going through? So and specifically smart technology leads to autonomous. There are different like distinctive differences between the remotely controlled vessels and autonomous vessels. So where is the industry going? Which direction they're going so far?
Well, right now, I think what people are seeing, and I think it's used under the broader term autonomy. So autonomy in its full autonomy means there's absolutely no humans involved. Yeah. So right now, I think the industry is probably a little bit further away from that in scale when you start seeing the stores to full autonomous. Yeah. And I think what you're seeing is people using smart functions, varying levels of smart functions, to be able to reduce the manning on board, or maybe move the man from on board the vessel to onshore. So as you're using these machines and the machines are starting to give us more and more information, then we can let the machines make more decisions as long as we have override capability. That's what you're seeing with these unmanned vessels when somebody's on shore and they have the ability to override the machines making some of the decisions. So I still think it'll be a little bit of time before we run fully autonomous, but I certainly see lots of good experimentation and pilot projects being done on the semi-autonomous front.
Good. And from a class perspective, to what extent autonomous or like the smart shipping reduce risk on board of ships?
So it proves the number one point I want to make across is when you're using this data, it's to be able to make better informed decisions. And the more information you know about your asset and how it's performing, the safer that asset can be. So you can be able to leverage all of this technology to actually determine and fully understand the condition of the asset. And that becomes critical in ways to determine how to spend your money and where to maintain, when not to maintain, and do maintenance tasks, and overall improve the overall operations of the asset.
The industry is still, does not fully get not the definition, but the importance of autonomous vessels, especially when it comes to avoiding the risk. So in case of having an accident, the human element is essential on board of a ship in order to react positively to this accident and try to minimize the risk. But when it comes to autonomous, to what extent it will decrease the risk? It will react very fast to the accident or any other risks.
So I think as we move around more and more autonomy, we need to be able to gradually and incrementally take steps towards that. Because again, if you apply technology too early, then there could be accidents related to that new technology. So by taking steps, one step at a time, by having humans be able to override some of the technology when the decisions are being made by the machine, I think that's a way to ensure some of the safety. So by making smart incremental steps towards autonomy is a much safer approach than trying to go all out, all autonomous, which means that you don't quite fully understand all the potential risks around you until you've done all the steps prior to that. So I think we need to move there in a very smart manner, and I don't, pun intended perhaps, a very smart manner and taking steps towards autonomy as opposed to trying to go full autonomy right out of the gates.
It's interesting, Derek, and thank you for giving us actually all the useful information, especially to our audience. We really want to know more about the impact of the smart technology. So finally, we need to know more about the strategy, ABS strategy, to enhance the awareness about the positive impact of smart technology to facilitate business in the Middle East, especially in the Middle East region.
So we're actually working with a couple clients right here in the Middle East to take the steps of the technology that they already have on board their assets and to be able to find ways to be less intrusive as a class society. We're kind of coining this term a condition-based class. And so instead of taking the prescriptive rule books that we have today, and we know with all the detailed class requirements, we're trying to be able to shift the class model towards doing it in a predictive manner, in a manner in which we're actually surveying the parts of the vessel that actually need to be surveyed based on the actual condition of the asset. And we're working closely with a couple clients right here in the Middle East trying to explore the possibilities. Obviously, there's still some basic constraints based on IMO and some of the other regulations as far as how far you can take this technology. But again, taking these small steps towards progress and using this technology and leveraging it to help benefit clients' operations today is what we're trying to do.
So I can conclude my interview with you by saying that the smart technology is a distinctive and unique opportunity to ship owners here, and they need to better get educated and get aware about the beneficial usage of a smart technology to take it forward, right?
That's correct. I think that people need to understand what smart technologies can do to them, what type of technologies are good for their companies and are a good fit, and to start taking small steps towards utilizing that technology.
Thank you so much for your time, Derek, today.
Thank you. I really enjoyed speaking with you. Hopefully it will help your constituents greatly.
My pleasure as well to be with you today, and let's actually give it a little bit some time. Speak again next year in the next edition of Seatrade, so you can see how far your clients and your audience here in the Middle East pursue the smart technology. Thank you for your time.
Yep, I'd love to. Can't wait to talk to you again. Thank you very much.